Yes, he had the assist and rebound, but you have the ability to score. We need you to be aggressive. He's not even looking at the basket.
Benjamin David Simmons, born July 20th, 1996. There's a few things we know from the early start of the 24-25 NBA season. LeBron James is still really good nearly a month from being 40 years old. Kevin Durant still hates Stephen A. Smith. Jayson Tatum is on a mission. Anthony Davis can be the best player in the league when healthy. Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic are the most confusing cases of how looks can be deceiving. And yep, ladies and gentlemen, Ben Simmons is still trash. It's been 4 straight seasons of the Ben Simmons saga now, one where he didn't play at all after a holdout and supposed back injury, and the other 3 he's averaging a total of 6.6 points, 6 rebounds and 6 assists, 59% from the foul line, and hasn't even attempted a three-pointer in those 4 years. This was a player considered the next LeBron James coming into the league, and even after his first few seasons. But I think now it's safe to say that what we see is what we'll pretty much get from here on out as long as teams keep him around the NBA, even though every media day he says he's feeling the best he's ever felt, and things like this.
I think people forget, me as a player when I'm healthy. I could play basketball. I'm pretty good, right?
Yes, Ben, it has been forgotten, seeing as you've been bad for the same amount as when you were good, and when it's all said and done, I'm pretty sure the bad seasons will outweigh the good because there's no turning back from here. But I understand how he must feel because he was an all-star 3 straight years from 2018-19 to 2021. He was the Rookie of the Year, top 5 Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and even an MVP candidate in 2021. Mentally, as a player, your ego has to override all the noise, or at least you have to say things to boost that ego, as well as letting the team know that pays you, you still believe that, so they can continue paying you the millions they do to not even want to take layups and be completely readable as an offensive player who is literally the most zero threat from 3 the game has ever seen from the guard position. It's astonishing and remains one of the biggest fall-offs in the history of basketball, how a one-and-done, #1 pick Rookie of the Year and 3-time All-Star selection could go from that to possibly out the league after this season. Simmons will be an unrestricted free agent beginning 25-26, making $40 million this year of a $177+ million contract he signed in 2020. That certainly will be a lot less if he's signed by Brooklyn or another team looking for a point guard that needs the ball in his hand to be good, but in today's NBA can't be because he still can't shoot and make anything outside the paint. What's worse, he won't even attempt to, even with an advantage. At this point, it's over for Ben Simmons' potential in my opinion, and now the league and everyone else has to leave it alone and accept the fact that for these reasons, his growth was stunted. What happened? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Ben Simmons is a 6'10" point guard forward from Melbourne, Australia that was a multi-sport star growing up, beginning basketball play at 7 years old and focusing solely on basketball in his early teens. He attended the Pangos All-American Camp in 2012, where he dominated despite being one of the youngest at the camp, before moving to the United States for his sophomore year in high school to play for Mount Verde Academy in Florida. He committed to LSU just before his junior year, where he led his team to a 28-0 season and national championship, while winning tournament MVP after scoring 24 points and grabbing 12 rebounds in the final game. He became the top player in the 2015 class by his senior year and seen as the best overall prospect since LeBron James, with some saying he'll be a better version of LeBron with his bigger size and chance to watch it already been done. He won a 3rd straight high school national championship to close out his career, McDonald's All-American, and clear one and done and projected 1st overall pick in the draft. Stunt number 1, Ben Simmons forgot. The first reason I'd say it's likely over for Ben Simmons as far as him being anywhere near the player he was before 25 years old is mentally he lost something that's never ever coming back no matter what he says. Speaking of what he said, I don't think it's the fans who have forgotten that he once was a pretty good player, because we actually do remember. That's why it's so frustrating. Seeing this athletic specimen perfect for the game of basketball physically, that could move and handle the ball like a guard once before, an all-around player, including defense, completely go the opposite way from where he was headed, is almost unbelievable and certainly unheard of outside including Markelle Fultz, another mystery of modern basketball. Instead, I believe Ben Simmons is the one who actually forgot what he was able to do out there, or something mentally is blocking his brain from actually believing he can still be that player. Me personally, I think it's a few mental things going on with Simmons, and one of them is I believe he's already checked out of the game of basketball. Of course, this is all speculation because I'm no doctor of any kind, but the way he behaves toward the game in every way says if it all were to end today, he'd be perfectly fine being a socialite personality, relaxing every day, enjoying the lifestyle he's worked hard for and was blessed with. He's made a fortune in just 6 years in the NBA at a young age, and now moves like he's content not amounting to what his potential said he could. I also believe mentally he lost confidence somewhere between not taking that layup against the Hawks in Game 7 in 2021 and having his teammate, along with the most overrated coach in Doc Rivers, throw him under the bus in the press conference. Ever since then, I don't think he's been the same. To compound that, he had a messy and embarrassing breakup with the Sixers that killed his public image, made easier because if you think of the word prima donna or spoiled jock, his face would be the exact image of it. He then went to Brooklyn and has been atrocious the last 3 seasons and still scared of the brightest moments. Mentally, redeeming himself is pretty much over. With that gone, physically is up next. Stunt number 2, he's been exposed. Another important reason it's over, at least for Ben Simmons, to become the player everyone thought he'd be is because the league and everyone that watches basketball now sees him for who he really is. He's been exposed. He went from a mismatch in his favor to an off night for the defense, seeing his confidence has dropped to an all-time low, and the blueprint to guarding him or disrupting his mental has now been put out there. In pressure situations, I don't see him ever showing up, once because he can't, since he's so easy to guard by playing all the way back and letting him chuck a jump shot, who from 3 he hasn't even attempted one this season, last season, or the one before. In fact, in 6 years, he's taken 36 threes altogether. For a defender going up against him, that's the easiest matchup you'll ever get. Add to that, he had a traumatic incident where his own teammate and coach criticized and pointed the losing finger at him like only losers do, which completely rattled his confidence. Now every time he has the ball in a win-win situation, he overthinks it and ends up making it worse. He can lie to dinosaur media day journalists all he wants to, but by now, especially after a season he's averaging the same numbers he has for the last 3 seasons, 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, he's been read like a book that completely fell off toward the point it's supposed to climax. Stunt number 3, the game is moving on without him. Today's era is the worst for a player as mentally fragile as Ben Simmons and players that can't make the three-pointer. As time goes on, that last part has become ultra important to the game as a whole, but most importantly for guards or positions that handle the ball a lot. Without the shooting capabilities it takes to keep the defense from clogging the lane, where does a guy like Ben Simmons go who won't even attempt the shot in a game? I'm not sure he's even working on it in the offseason, and if he is, he's obviously wasting his time because when the lights are on, he won't even think of trying it out in game. I strongly believe after this season, there could be a possibility no team picks him up out of free agency for this growth stunt alone. As of right now, the best thing about Ben Simmons is his height and size can present a problem for offensive guards, but is that enough for him to get the opportunities he'll need to fulfill his potential? I think not. He's 28 now, going to be 29 before the next season, and there's already much better point guard options than him that at least fit the direction of where the league is headed. I'd pick Markelle Fultz over Ben Simmons right now if the chance were there, and I think many GMs would as well. All in all, Ben Simmons had a solid 3-year run where he looked like a 15 to 20-year player, but right now he looks like he won't even make it to 30 in the league unless he accepts a bench role being paid way less. Yes, injury played a part, but I think for these reasons mostly, it's over for Ben Simmons. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth was stunted. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.